VRFC review for the PlayStation VR.
Let's begin!
First up, let's take a look at the gameplay. This is an online football game for up to 8 players. There is quite a lengthy tutorial which you will want to take a look at before playing, as there are quite a lot of controls to remember. To run, you move the move controllers up and down. You don't have to do this in a realistic running motion though, like you do in Sprint Vector. You do have to be fast with your movement, but it's more of a slight action that is required. It's a bit like shaking a salt shaker up and down. To sprint, you do the same action, but hold down the T button. Sprinting constantly drains your stamina bar, so you do need to take into consideration when the best time is to use up your energy and when it's best to rest. To strafe left and right, you hold the move button on the respective controller. To run backwards, you hold both move buttons in. It can be quite hard to line yourself up with the ball, as you will be turning by pressing buttons. Luckily, you can press a button to centre your view on the ball, and you can also turn on dribble assist. This constantly focuses your view on the ball, which is very useful. Your feet are actually controlled by the move controller's tracking. To kick the ball, you hold down the T button and swing your foot towards it. It feels a bit like you're playing golf. It really does matter what part of your foot collides with the ball, as it does have a physics engine attached. Overall, the controls are quite finicky, which is a bit of a shame, especially with such a fast-paced game. I quite often felt that the controls slowed me down. It's certainly going to take a lot of practice to get very good at the game. The goalkeepers are controlled by AI. They do a decent job, but after a while, you certainly find the sweet spot of where to shoot from. It would have been amazing to have real players in goal, and obviously having the move controllers as the keeper's hands would have been perfect. When a goal is scored, you see an instant replay play out on the pitch itself. It's a nice little feature, but you do only see the ball travel into the goal, and not the actual player kick the ball or positions of other players. It would have been great to see more, so you could discuss future tactics and positions on the pitch. After each game, you're rewarded with experience, which unlocks new stuff to customise your player with. It's a decent reward system, but customising your character can also cause confusion on the pitch, especially when each team isn't wearing one colour or the same pattern. It obviously greatly hurts being able to work as a team. The game can be played with up to 8 players online, but you don't need full teams to play. The pitch's size has obviously been made with full teams in mind though, and the game is quite boring with less than 8 people. Even in a 3 versus 3 match, you will end up doing a lot of running up and down the pitch, and it becomes very tedious. You can actually have a kick around as you wait for more players to join your lobby. Targets appear on the pitch for you to practice your aiming with, and a few balls spawn, enabling everyone to do what they want. Now let's take a look at how immersive this game is. Everything is very crisp and sharp. Your spatial awareness is excellent, and because of it, it makes a first-person football game very suitable for VR. Hitting the ball with your hand movements obviously isn't very realistic, but the ball physics are great most of the time. They really do become a massive problem when a group of players try to kick the ball at the same time though. The ball lags out all over the place, which is visually immersion breaking and also greatly hurts the gameplay. The backgrounds are great, the buildings do rise very high above you, and you can see hot air balloons off in the distance. The scale of everything really makes you quite small, and overall, it's actually quite a realistic environment, as long as you don't look at your cartoony hands. The pitch really is quite lit up compared to its surroundings. The sky does have a really good texture, but it is always dark. It would have been nice to have had a kick around in the daytime, but it does put more focus on the bright pitch itself. You always know the current score in each game, thanks to a massive screen on the side of the pitch. It really is quite big, and is very easily readable. It does sound more like you're playing in a park rather than a city. Although it doesn't match with your surroundings, I do think a city ambience would have been quite distracting. When the ball gets kicked, it does sound incredibly realistic. Now let's take a look at the setup and what controllers the game supports. I played this game in a standing position around 1.5 meters away from the camera. The circle that you virtually stand in is actually placed quite close to the camera in the real world. I don't think I've played a standing game before where you have to be quite as close to the camera. Although you are closer, it does not affect the game's tracking. You really do have to stand for this game, so you're able to swing your arms and kick the ball more efficiently. The head tracking was perfect, and the game did not make me motion sick. I can imagine people would get a bit motion sick when the dribble assist is turned on for long periods of time, as you are not in full control of where you are looking. There really are a lot of options you can mess around with to help with the motion sickness, but you will really want dribble assist on still. This game requires 2 move controllers to play. The other controllers are not supported. I do suggest you do lock on the move controller straps to your wrists, as when you run, they do fly around everywhere. Now let's take a look at the length of the game and what trophies come with it. As this is an online competitive game, there really is no end to it. The trophies do give you an incentive to return to the game, and there is quite a lot to grab, including a platinum. In total there are 41 trophies that can be achieved. There is 30 bronze, 5 silver, 5 gold and 1 platinum. The trophies are incredibly well done for this type of game. There is a lot of variety here. Some are awarded for doing simple things such as customizing your player kit and scoring your first goal. There is quite a few grinding trophies here, such as reaching level 50 or scoring 50 goals, but you would really expect these types of trophies for a game like this. The platinum will take a very long time to achieve. And now it's time for the verdict. If people play the game properly and take positions on the pitch like they would in a real football game, the game can be quite competitive, but because of the random ball physics when a group of players go for the ball, it prevents the game from being a fair esport. Although the game controls are quite finicky, it is a very good attempt with the limited function of the move controllers. Once again, analog sticks on the move controllers would have made reaction times so much better, especially in such a fast-paced game. I personally would have liked a mode for playing with a DualShock controller. Of course, you wouldn't be able to physically kick the ball like with the moves, but the spatial awareness on the pitch truly is something quite special for this type of game, and it does greatly immerse you. It is very obvious that this game has been designed around playing with 4 players in each team. I do recommend finding some friends to jump into the game with, as it can be quite hard to find a game with full teams. Overall, the game is quite fun if you accept the control system and don't take each match too seriously. It has a decent progression system and is priced just about right. If you want to see how a full match plays out, you can find our community meetup match by clicking the video on screen now. As always, if you found this review useful, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe for more PlayStation VR content.